Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. I'm LaBrad Nelson, and this is Navigating the Nelsons. Welcome home if you are back to the channel, and if you are new, come on in mama, have a seat. So I make homestead, baking, and twin mom content for moms who miss feeling inspired and want to get back to things that inspire them. And so if that's something that you're interested in, please stay tuned. So in today's video, we are going to be making two things. So first of all, I'm going to be making some pound cakes. I'm going to end up making 4 pound cakes. And then second of all, we're going to be making some sandwich bread. I made a goal to myself this year that I was going to try to make all our bread this year. Now we are officially deep, almost out of June, and that has not necessarily happened, but it is a goal. It's not a rule, right? So I'm trying to just be more intentional and kind of take little steps to do that. I showed you in the last video how I made some hamburger buns, and again, if you want to see that, please comment down below and I can do that for you. But for today, we're going to be making sandwich bread. So bread for like PB&J, different things like that. I was going to do sourdough discard sandwich bread or some sourdough sandwich bread. And if you want that, I'm thinking about putting that in another video that's all dedicated to sourdough. But for this one, I'm just gonna do regular. That's just gonna have some active dry yeast, which is my preferred yeast over instant yeast. So if you are interested in that and you want to watch that content, please stick around. We're gonna hop right into it. And I think that's it. I think that's all the housekeeping. Oh, real quick. Now we have a friend here with us today. She is very present, ever present. She's here in our hearts, in our souls, and on our face, okay? You probably won't see my face a lot in this video, but if you do, just say hey to her. Say, hey, Pimple. We're glad that you wanted to show yourself today. We appreciate you. Thank you for being front and center and not somewhere else that's not directly in the middle of my face. All right, let's get to baking. I'm gonna warm this up a little bit more because it's still a little cool. All right, I'm gonna call that warm. And we're gonna add some yeast to this. So we're gonna sprinkle over 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast. This is the yeast that I buy, and I get this from Walmart. And we're also gonna add 2 tablespoons of sugar. And so we're just gonna give that a quick mix. Let me tell y'all why it's important to follow instructions. This says to add this to my mixer. Where did I add this? To a measuring cup. Can y'all see me? To a measuring cup. What is wrong with me? That's all right. 1 second, y'all. All right, so we've added this to our KitchenAid, and it says to add either a paddle attachment or a dough hook attachment, which I'm choosing to do the dough hook because it has to knead. So I'm just getting the rest of that sugar out of there. And now we're gonna let it sit for 5 minutes. All right, so we're gonna add 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Then we're gonna add our butter. Y'all, if I don't say any measurements, you can find all the recipes and everything's linked down below. So we're gonna add our butter. And then I've weighed out my the recommended amount of flour into this bowl. And then, so we're gonna start with a cup of flour. And we're gonna beat it for 30 seconds. All right, now we're gonna scrape down our sides with the same silicone. This is just sugar that's on the side of this spatula. I'm gonna add that. Just cut the sides down. And then we're gonna add another cup of flour to our mix. And we're gonna beat this until it's pretty much together, but not all the way. And then we're gonna add the rest of our flour until the dough comes together and starts to pull away from the side of the bowl. So I'm gonna add the rest of our flour. And it says about 2 minutes, but we'll see. Alright, so now we're gonna let this knead in the dough, in the bowl, in the mixer for about 5 to 8 minutes. And then you'll know that it's ready when you push it, and it should bounce back. It should not do what it just did. And then I'm gonna try the window pane test, but I'm not the best at that, so I'll show that to y'all, like how they say you're supposed to do it, but we'll see if we actually achieve it or not. So 5 to 8 minutes on medium. All right, I think I'm gonna call it. It's still kind of sticky, but I think that that's fine. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna try to do the window pane thing, but I don't think. So what you do is you just take some dough. You're gonna roll it. You're gonna spread it out, and it should be able to. Let me get a little bit more. That dough should spread out, and you should be able to do a window pane test. Up to the window pane. You guys can't really see it because I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna call that, because sometimes when I make this dough, I add too much flour and I knead it too long, and then it gets like real crusty, and not the good kind. Like it gets real crumbly, and that's not ideal. So I'm gonna call this. We're gonna get this into a bowl with some olive oil, and we're gonna call it that. All right, y'all. So I just finished the bread. We're gonna let that rise for 1 to 2 hours. I actually have to be at church tonight, but I think that that's gonna be fine. It's gonna rise for 1 to 2 hours, and then it's gonna rise again, a second rise for 1 hour, and then it's gonna bake for 30 to 35 minutes or something like that. So I think it'll be good. It's literally gonna be down to the last minute, which again, as I said last time, wouldn't be me if I wasn't at the last minute. But I didn't want to have to do all this while the boys were up, because it's a lot of noise, and then I can't really focus in because I'm kind of spreading my mind from here to there. So this is the best time for me to do it. And then tonight I'm going to be gone, so I can't do it tonight. So all of that to say, relatively easy. I'll link the recipe down below if I didn't say that already. And hopefully it'll be really good, because in this recipe you can actually freeze the dough too, either in its raw state. You can freeze it like in a disposable loaf pan and just have it in your fridge, and then take it out and thaw it and cook it, or you can freeze it baked. And so that would help with my goal of wanting us to eat only homemade bread, because I won't have to be making it constantly. So I do want to try sourdough sandwich bread too. I'm pretty sure you can freeze that too. So needless to say, we're gonna be trying some new things out. I actually made some sourdough discard muffins yesterday, blueberry and chocolate, double chocolate. You should be seeing a video of that right now of those. They were really good. I wish the chocolate ones were a little bit more moist, but that might have been something I did. So I'm gonna retry to make them again, but I needed to get rid of the discard that was in my refrigerator. So we made those. Jason loved them, the boys loved them, but I'm rambling at this point. We're gonna move on to the pound cakes. I was gonna make 4, but I think I'm just gonna make 2 because I like to just have them in the freezer. But let's just do 2 for now and go from there. So pound cake it is. All right, everyone, so we are gonna go ahead and get this pound cake together. I make this all the time. It is well loved and I enjoy making it. I wish I had more cake pans or like loaf pans. First of all, it would have came really in handy on this day because I didn't have enough pans to do the second proof on the bread. But even still, like if I could just make 4 of these at a time, well, really not, because I don't think my KitchenAid can take all that. But if I could, that would be ideal because I could get done faster. But you guys know I don't have buttermilk, so I'm just adding a tablespoon-ish of vinegar to my milk and letting that sit to the side. And then I've already weighed out my flour, baking soda, baking powder, and salt over there. And now I'm gonna get to doing these lemons. This is literally the hardest part and the most time-consuming part of this whole process, is going through and grating these lemons. And as soon as I can teach my kids to safely do this, oh, they will be doing it because it is so time-consuming. But just taking the time and pulling them out and doing it one by one is very good. So as I told y'all in the last video, I'm trying out a new editing software as well as trying out some new audio equipment. So as you're listening, just let me know how you feel about the audio. Let me know what it looks like or what it sounds like, as well as the edits, because I want to be sure I'm putting out quality content for all of you. And I know audio is a big part of it. So leave a comment down below and let me know what you think about the new audio. So I'm taking the time and adding some softened butter that I've had out on the counter, and I am letting it cream together with some sugar. 2 1/4 cup is what I think it is. And I'm going to cream that together. Now I'm going to encourage y'all not to be impatient like I have been in the past. I normally stop it after everything kind of comes together, but it was nice to see it really get to that light and fluffy consistency that they tell you to let it get to. And so after that, you're going to add eggs and all that good stuff to the mix. So if I could give any food for thought for y'all in this video, it truly would be, no pun intended, would be about doing things that you love. So one of my biggest takeaways from the last few days of cooking, not just what I'm cooking on video, but also the things that I'm cooking off camera, is that I have felt so energized the last few days. Like, I'm just like, where's all this energy coming from? I'm cleaning up and vacuuming and doing all these things, not begrudgingly, but like excitedly, feeling confident and proud in myself for doing them. And I'm like, why do I feel this way? And it's truly because I feel like personally nothing else has changed over the last few weeks other than the fact that I am doing things that I love doing. I love to bake. I love to see people eat the things that I bake. When I show them photos, it makes me feel proud. Like when a kid brings home an A that got on a spelling test, it's that type of proud and joy for me. And so because I've experienced that and because I have that feeling, I'm thankful for the fact that I get to experience that. And it's like, I just feel so much joy about that. I feel so much joy about being able to bake, and I have energy in other parts of my life. I think that's so crazy. Really quick, I'm just right now kind of going back and forth between the wet ingredients and the dry ingredients. One thing that you guys didn't see me add, I added a tablespoon of lemon zest, that zested lemon, and 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, and mix that all together and let it sit with the faux buttermilk. And we're going back and forth between wet and dry ingredients while also buttering and putting some parchment paper in our pans. So I said that to say, I encourage you, back to that, if you are not doing something that you love, I talked about inspiration at the top of this video. Do what inspires you, even if you're tired, even if you're overwhelmed, because it's gonna fill your cup. And as mothers, we are constantly giving. And we do it so effortlessly. Even if our tank is empty, we still give somehow. We still have the power to give to other people. But it's so hard for us to give to ourselves from such a place of emptiness. And so if you are not doing something that you love, if I'm asking you the question now, what is something you've done in the last 2 weeks that brings you joy, that you love, that doesn't involve your kids or doesn't involve your spouse? Can you answer that question? And if you can't, that's a good place to start about finding balance in your life. One key word that I want to have for this channel is about balance. I don't ever want to be one of those moms who's on social media saying we make 100% of our meals from scratch, or we only watch this, or we only do this. You know, life is not like that. It's not that cut and dry and black and white. And when we attach ourselves to those labels, we create this unrealistic expectation of ourselves. So yeah, sometimes I'm going to take my kids to McDonald's. It's going to happen. But most of their meals are going to be made from scratch, and that's okay. I'm a great mom. I show up for my kids and my husband all the time, but sometimes I just want to be alone. Sometimes I just want to do things that are about me and only about me. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's not selfish, and it doesn't make me a bad mother or a bad wife. So I'm taking the time to weigh these out. I like to weigh them because I can be sure that they're going to be the same size, and whichever one is bigger, I remove product from it on scale to make sure that they're equal as I can possibly get them. I'm not getting it down to the milligram, but as equally as I can possibly get them. And then we're going to spread them out evenly in the pan. So if you're interested, comment down below. What's something that you've done in the last 2 weeks that was simply about you? Nobody else. It wasn't about taking care of your husband or your kids or about cleaning or cooking. Specifically over the last 2 weeks, what's something you've done that's specifically about you? And if nothing, what can you be doing? So those were the pound cakes, looking really good. And now we're going to get over to this bread. I'm going to flour down my counter right here. And this loaf was so soft, like literally like Play-Doh. And I am so excited to try this again, because maybe I even added too much flour this time too, because it still was a little dense. So as I kind of work it and do it, you guys will see it at the end of the video. But as I kind of work on it and do more with it, I'm hoping I'm going to be able to perfect it. because literally this is so much cheaper than buying bread. I buy flour so much. I'm really gonna, once we move to a new place, I'm going to commit and get started buying from Azure, because I literally buy so much flour. But until then, this is a great way to cut costs, because, and to cut, preservatives and all that stuff too, if you just make the bread yourself. So we're just rolling that bread up, putting it in our loaf after we've oiled it down a bit with a little olive oil, and putting it in there. And now we're gonna let it proof in the pan. Again, in a perfect world, I would have had a third pan and we would have let it proof while those other ones were baking, but didn't work like that. So again, do as I say, not as I do. Generally and usually I glaze these while these were still hot, but I had to get to church. So this is the next day. I'm coming back in glazing. We're adding a glaze to these pound cakes, which is just lemon, sugar, and water. Recipe will tell you all the specifics in the description down below, but then you're gonna come back and you're gonna ice the top of it. I don't generally follow the instructions for the icing that they say. Maybe I should, but I don't, because I always feel like it's just a little too thick. But I'm gonna pour it over the top and we're gonna go from there. If you feel like it's too thick, always feel free to add a little bit more lemon juice. So we're going to be wrapping up this process. I really love baking these things, everything. I just love baking. It's just my thing. It feels so natural to me, and it's such a beautiful process to be able to make something yourself. Literally walking down the grocery aisle and saying, I want to make that. My next thing, you guys, I don't know if you guys have had those Olipop sodas. Oh my gosh, I had the strawberry vanilla one the other day, and all I can think is, oh, I need that in my life. Like, I need to be able to have this without having to spend $2.50 on a can of soda. So that's what's next. I've been looking into it, and I think I want to, in addition to managing my sourdough starter, manage a ginger bug. So if you are interested in that and figuring out what that is, comment down below and I will tell you. All right, y'all, so we finished everything that we need to finish. We've done the lemon pound cake, and we've also made the sandwich bread. I'm gonna cut into the pound cake off camera because I already know what it tastes like. And then I'm going to I've already cut into the bread because I've tried to record this multiple times. But I am gonna taste it on camera. I'm tasting the butter of the bread because I don't want to miss out on using that bread for something else. But very buttery, like bunny bread. It's really good. Now it is a little bit crusty, not crusty, but like dense. But I think that if you warmed it up in the microwave for like 5 seconds, it would kind of give back that pliable feel that we know and love from store-bought bread. But it's really good. You guys should see a clip of me kind of cutting into the bread and what that looks like. I'm just gonna put these in some Ziploc bags and have them out on my counter to be used. Maybe one day I'll get a bread box. That would be so nice. But until then, Ziploc bags, here we come. But that's all for today's video. If you guys like the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. We're gonna have so much more content moving forward, from gardening videos, canning, all type of food preservation, and also just, getting our house together, managing our lives and our household and our kids, and lots of scratch-made foods. So if those things are things that you're interested in watching moving forward, I would love for you guys to subscribe and join the journey. If no one else has told you guys, I'm so very proud of you. Until next time, peace.